history. If you come from Egypt, don't blame me. Is that okay? I read the textbook. I only tell you his history, not for any discrimination. Is that okay? Coming started from Egypt 5 BC. People didn't recognize it. Then, around the 15th century, it happened to go to Spanish and Portugal, then they started to transfer because the merchants start to happen. Then, around the 1970s, caused really bad problem. Annually in Europe, this number of the person going to die. 400,000 people are going to die. It's much severe than coronavirus. I just want to tell you. So we're going to have to solve the problem. What are we going to do? This is Edward Jenner, his most important contribution in this world. He's trying to find some medicine. It's not going to work very well for the virus. So one day, he found a very interesting phenomenon. Any of the lady, we call it call maid. They call it call maid. Those ladies, if they have a cowpox, look at this. It's called a smallpox, is that right? If they have a cowpox, they never get severe symptoms of smallpox. So he's interested to see it. So he did a lot of survey, lots of study. He found a lady. The lady's name, I still remember, is called Sarah Nailman. He found her and he gets her hands. Okay, I'll just try it. I'm not that good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He found there's some lesions right there. A lot of very obvious lesions. So take all these lesions, inject it to a boy. The boy's name, this is in Great Britain, back in approximately 1718 or something. In 1718, in May, he found a boy. This boy named James Phipps. He injected the liam from cowpox from Sarah Nailman. Then the boy had about a 7-day mild heat, a little bit cold. And I tell you one thing, this boy also loses appetite. Okay? But then recovered like 8 days or 10 days. This is happening in May. In July, Edward Jenner gave him some inoculation, which is the infection with smallpox. And this boy survived. So, what happened is, the idea is that you coming from any of the cow-maid who has a cowpox, which is a very mild symptoms. This is coming from a horse to a cow, transmitted. Then he get this one, get the leaves. Like some magical chemical. Give to James Phipps. James Phipps survived. And if you expose them to smallpox, he survived. This is a process called a vaccination. Later on, he submit this report, go to the journal. That's called Royal Society in the Chemistry of England. And actually the paper get rejected. Then later on he did more research and then they get published. Then later on it becomes a uniform methods to do the prevention of smallpox. And how much money he gets from the British Parliament? This is the only money pounds. This is the only money he gets. 20,000 pounds. That's the only money he gets, like $30,000. Yeah, not too much. Okay, that's back in 400 years ago, probably. 300 years ago. So, we want to memorize his contribution. We're going to remember this cowpox, cow-maid. That's why the Latin words using VACCI, the vaccination to express this terminology. So we know that what's a vaccination right now is they give you a small dose of a pathogen into your body. Now coronavirus is different. They give you the S protein, is that right? They give you S protein, then you refraction, and replication, transcription, translation, then it's expressed in your body. Most of the other things, they give you a small dose of the bacteria or pathogen. They will let your body to mimic infectious process, then activate the immune system. Now what are the two immune systems? Humoral and the cell mediated. Humoral immune will generate the B cell. This is at the end of the day will have antibody. The cell mediated immune will only activate the T cell. Therefore, we usually need a loss of booster. Okay, so this is what later on talk about vaccination. We will mention detail in the last exam sections. So here comes out one conclusion. It is still recognized right now, although we have a different medicine to treat the disease, to treat the virus caused the disease, but the best way to control the virus caused disease is always the vaccine. So always remember, from the medical standpoint, vaccination is the best way to control virus caused disease. That's why the CDC, they always recommend you to have shots of the vaccination of the COVID-19. But they do have, lots of you have a severe side effects, especially you have a second shots. Is that right? That happens. And also COVID-19 is pretty new. So I just want to let you know. For the smallpox, because of the cowpox, the vaccination, this one has not been a problem anymore. I think around the 1980s, this has been defined by World Health Organization. We have already been conquered that, which means conquered that. It's not be a threat at all. But I tell you, even today, we still don't have a medicine for that. The only thing we can do is a vaccination. Now, this one mentioned is a rash. In the old time, if people have smallpox, the only thing what they can do is isolated, go to the isolated island. If you see the movie like Shutter Island, those persons there, some of them kind of like a smallpox. I just give you an example. They will be isolated there. And you will know they have recovered from smallpox because of the rash. Even they recover, this whole body will have those type of very obviously rash. It's a red rash there. You will see it. I had an elementary school teacher back 30 years ago in China. He's a survivor of the smallpox, and you can see his face is all red rash. So I just want to tell you, that's called sequela, a terminology used to describe the disease after recovered from the infectious disease. This terminology called sequela. Okay? So that's a story about vaccination. Now, here on the slides, we gave you the conclusion. The Edward Jenner is using a vaccination to protect individuals from smallpox. And this is the first time recorded in the history about the vaccination. And it's coming from a cow. And this is also the preceding work established the role of microorganisms in disease. Okay? So I'm going to end up here, and next Tuesday we're going to talk about microorganisms and growth past all the others. Okay?